Hello everybody, here we are for another reaction review. Today, we will be looking at Rwby, Volume 3, Chapter 4, Lessons Learned. This episode begins at the floating stadium, with the terrain being chosen for the next fight. The next fight we've all been waiting for! Mercury and Emerald versus Coco and Yatsuhashi! This time, I'm kind of surprised to see 4 different environments being chosen. They're amping it up for the higher ranks. Even slightly more surprised to see a cityscape as like an environmental option, but I guess I shouldn't be surprised that abandoned buildings would be a battleground, especially after the Mountain Glen episodes. I bet abandoned cities are all over Remnant and fought in. After some cute banter between Coco and Emerald,
I won't be the one bleeding.
Oh, I like her.
The fight begins with Mercury and Emerald disappearing into the grasslands portion of the arena. Now, I know this is supposed to be menacing and all, but I can't help but laugh at this scene because I keep on picturing Homer walking backwards into the bushes. It looks like Coco even has fans like Team Sun. Speaking of Coco, she uses her chain gun to cut all the tall grass Emerald and Mercury are supposed to be hiding in. Damn, I wish I could cut my lawn that way. It also kind of shows off the fact that the stadium has built-in shields to protect the audience, just in case of some stray bullets. Right off the bat, the music kicks in, setting the pace of the fight, and it's fast. Like Mercury out of nowhere fast. This guy could give a certain hedgehog a run for his money. He might not be Barry Allen Flash fast, but look at him go!
They're breakdance fighting.
It might not be breakdance fighting. Actually, I think his fighting style is more like Sanji's from One Piece, another fighter that fights mostly with his feet. Though Mercury has his weaponized boots, that does actually not seem to be like simple bullets like I thought before. Maybe more like shotgun shells like Yang's Ember Celica. It becomes quite clear as the fight goes on that Mercury is more than a match for both Coco and Yatsuhashi, almost toying with them until Emerald joins in for some fun.
Get over here!
Now Emerald has dragged Coco into the forest section of the arena, and for some reason here, I can't get the Johnny Cage versus Scorpion fight from the old 1995 Mortal Kombat movie out of my head. The forest backdrop, with Emerald popping in and out of nowhere, and the music. In the end, what a upset indeed. These two are fan favorites, but what better way to show how powerful the enemy is than to have them destroy the viewer's heroes? Now, I don't think Emerald needed to do this Yatsuhashi illusion here to win her match, but it really works to unnerve her opponent, even making Coco shake. Now, maybe that is Neo invisibly helping out her teammates. Or could that be Emerald's semblance? Let's think about this for a second. On the Neo side of the argument, it makes a bit of sense. Emerald and Mercury hiding in the tall grass, and an invisible hidden Neo makes them invisible as well, allowing them to position themselves anywhere in the arena to keep Coco and Yatsuhashi off balance, guaranteeing their victory. On the Emerald semblance side of the argument, it makes perfect sense as well. She's a thief! What a better way to steal things than to disguise yourself as someone that your victim trusts. Both arguments kind of have their valid points, but I'm leaning more on the side of Neo cheating. It kind of explains more in the fight, like how they are able to get their positioning and the Yatsuhashi sort of clone. But I also think that Emerald being basically like Mystique from the X-Men is pretty damn cool too. The Emerald we might know might not be what she actually looks like. Moving on, in the category for Best Dynamic Lighting, the award goes to The Garden of Betrayal. I mean, the Schnee sisters lunch scene. Really, now, they can do this? This is some high-level dynamic lighting going on here. And they aren't just like, point and click and the lighting like is just drawn there. This is dynamic. The light rays move as the characters move. This is like some Pixar DreamWorks quality lighting. This almost wows me more than the last fight, but hey, I'm a graphics snob. To each their own. Here, Winter mentions several interesting things. One, she's leaving. She was not actually stationed in Vale. Winter was only there to make sure this new transport of Paladins, the giant robots, made it to Vale. Secondly, that the last set of stolen Paladins that Team Rwby fought versus Torchwick and on the train were only prototypes, and the newer models are much stronger. And lastly, there is a Schnee hereditary semblance, glyphs and summoning through those glyphs, but Weiss hasn't progressed that high yet, although her inability to do so seems almost more like a mental block more than anything else. On the idea with families with hereditary semblance, it makes sense. I kind of feel like that there might be a Bronwyn hereditary semblance, at least between kind of Yang and Qrow. That would explain why Qrow got stronger when Winter hit him last episode during their fight. He is Yang's mother's brother after all. Speaking of Qrow and Yang, they along with Rwby are relaxing in the dorms playing video games, and he is telling his nieces stories about his mission. Flashback time, and yes, it's that good old animation style. The same sort of charcoal style of drawing, but much more detailed, not nearly as rough as the last one. And through this flashback, we've learned not only that Qrow was a drunk,
I was defeated by the mere sight of the innkeeper's skirt length,
but a lecherous drunk. Rooster Teeth, I doubt you're listening, but if you are, please make the next filler series after World of Remnant The Adventures of Qrow. I could see it now.
This is the story of a time long ago, a time of myth and legend, when the ancient gods were petty and cruel, and they plagued mankind with suffering. Only one man dared to challenge their power, Hercules. Hercules possessed a strength the world had never seen, a strength surpassed only by the power of his heart.
Actually, aside from just showing us that he's a dirty old man,
You are the worst!
it also shows us that Qrow is smarter than he looks. He knows that someone is still calling the shots after Torchwick got captured, and that this second party is smart enough to lay low after the last big blow-up.
You cut off the head of a King Taijitu, but now the second head's calling the shots.
He also does let something slip while talking. Something he probably shouldn't have let Yang see when he reveals that he was once part of Team Stark. When he shows Yang the picture, look at her face. She looks like she's screaming internally. This shot, because she recognizes Raven. In the picture, notice how Qrow's thumb just happens to slide over Raven's face, and then he pulls it away quickly when he notices Yang's face. He knows something is up. There wasn't just a subconscious thumb going over her face. He's hiding something from her. Also, notice the stains on the picture. As an avid coffee drinker, that circular stain is most likely a coffee cup stain. Now, that could mean only one thing. Well, it could mean other things, but I think it only means one thing. That picture must have originally belonged to Ozpin. He's our local coffee drinker, and probably drinks almost half of the coffee in Vale. Have you seen him without his coffee cup? Alright, I digress. Now, that couldn't be a stain that Qrow put there, because, we've never seen Qrow drink coffee, and, well, shot glasses are a lot smaller than coffee mugs. It's drunk logic, and I'm sticking to it. Also, if you look closely at the picture of Team Stark, it's kind of interesting to see how similar they are color-wise to Team Rwby. Summer, the redhead, Qrow dressed in white, Raven with, red but a lot of black, and Tai Yang in yellow. This sort of kind of brings me back to the Harry Potter books. A little theme they had about, Harry's group of friends kind of following in the same footsteps as his father, James Potter, did. But again, I digress. But damn, Qrow keeps dropping the sage advice like Ozpin in this episode. Well, actually, it's more like Monty advice.
You two, you're gonna go far. But only if you keep learning. If you never stop moving forward.
Back to the Schnee sisters, Winter is trying to teach her little sister how to summon. And they also have a sisterly conversation about their father issues as well. But Winter keeps making it very hard for me to hate her because, yes, she is hard on Weiss, yes, but it's because she wants to push her to be better. If anything, now I see Winter not as a hard ass, not as a B, but more like a realist. Wow, and that is a caring, sisterly hug. I'm so confused. I want to hate Winter so badly. I really do. But the Rwby writers make it so hard for me to do that. Writers, why do you do this to me? You make me want to like the person I actually want to hate. Even Winter with a little bit of wisdom. Not exactly sage advice like before, but she gives Weiss a philosophical question to ponder over. Whether or not to go back to her possibly over-controlling father and beg for his forgiveness and money, or ignore him, concentrate on herself, and find herself. Oh, what's that? Is that a sword? But the summon is supposed to be a fallen opponent. So, could it mean that that sword is from the empty armor from the white trailer? And the caterpillar beside it, perhaps an allusion to stored potential. As a caterpillar has the potential to become a butterfly, this probably foreshadows that Weiss still has great potential inside of her to become much more than she already is. Maybe eventually stronger than Winter? We're nearing the end of the episode, and it looks like Weiss has made her decision as her sister Winter flies off into the distance. She ignores her father's phone call, pretty much making her decision that while she may be penniless, she would rather stay at Beacon to further find herself. Such a great scene. Just, it kind of shows a lot without any actual words being said, just her actions. And that great Mirror Mirror remix in the background. So good. Roll credits, and that's it for this episode. Again, we are treated to some nice pre-production artwork during those credits. Oh, and one more thing. A little nice, wonderful tidbit during the credits. Did anyone else notice Monty Oom's name as one of the animators in the credits? It hasn't been there in the last couple episodes. Now, he was known to multitask and work ahead on projects, so it's not impossible that he did some animation on this episode. I don't have any actual proof, but I think it was mentioned maybe during a podcast or something like that, one of the Rooster Teeth podcasts, that he was already working on Season 3. So that mixed with Qrow's Monty-like quote, I don't know, it just kind of makes me feel good. Well, okay, before I start crying, that's all for me, everybody. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe and share with your friends. And as always, this is all just my opinion. I'm not an expert. If you know something that I don't, or just feel like debating something, feel free to leave a comment below. And until next time, good night, everybody!